Good evening. We'll call the Waterboro Planning Board meeting to order. Today's date is October 7th, and 7 p.m. meeting is called to order. First order of business is roll call. Do we have anybody missing tonight? Steve. Okay, we have one member missing. Tonight's appointment on the agenda is Meadowbrook Acres. It is a sketch plan review for Meadowbrooks Acres 2. It's a subdivision off of tax map 11, lot 42. Bill Thompson from BH2M is here to present the subdivision sketch plan for, I believe it's Andy Cody, the subdivider. Bill?
Thank you. For the record, Bill Thompson, BH2M Engineers, project manager for Andy Cody. As the chairman indicated, we're here tonight just as a sketch plan to introduce Meadowbrook Acres Phase 2. The first phase off Brookside was in 2002. It was approved in the fall of '02 for a 12-lot subdivision, which is located to the north of what we're presenting tonight. What we want to do is to extend the Meadowbrook Drive with a cul-de-sac and a spur off of that, if you will, to serve the new 13 lots. The 13 lots will be minimum of 80,000 square foot lot with on-site septic wells, and would like to continue with above-ground power. It's in an agricultural zone, which again dictates the 80,000 square foot minimum lot size. Most of these lots exceed the 80,000 square feet. And we basically want to continue the same quality, the same theme, if you will, coming up off of Brookside. The Phase 1 roadway that was put in off the end of Brookside is about 1,900 feet. This proposal to come up through the cul-de-sac is about 1,200 feet of road. And then I do have a spur to pick up 3 lots coming back again to the north. When we did Phase 1, great discussion about length of dead-end roads. We did get that approved with a loop at the end with a fire pond in the center of it. This phase here, we're proposing a second means of egress coming out between 2 of the lots there with a 50-foot right-of-way. Back out onto Panoramic Drive. Panoramic Drive is a private road owned by the applicant, Andy Cody. It's a high-quality road. It's about a half a mile from that point back out to the main road. Excuse me. So he's obviously aware of the limitations of what the ordinance has, and then also what makes sense for public safety and, and common sense. There are some gravel roads, logging roads in through there. We've looked at it, and I think it'll work real well to bring a gravel road out to that Panoramic Drive, and then obviously it would be for emergency use only. We wouldn't promote it as the entrance road into Meadowbrook Phase 2. The only need for a second access on any neighborhood like this is at the time of an emergency. If you can't get in from the primary entrance due to an existing emergency, and then somebody's trying to get in or out of there with a second problem, whether it be a fire or rescue call. So this proposed access out between 2 lots, I'm not sure exactly where it'll be once we do our final engineering, but it'll be in that type of configuration to get an emergency vehicle in and out of there and then back out Panoramic Drive. So I think that would eliminate any concerns, and hopefully the design can be put together to make that work. Stormwater for this project, as with the first phase, it required a DEP stormwater permit. This also is in a lake watershed. We're subject to phosphorus standards on Phase 1. There were buffers associated with each lot, and I believe to meet the DEP stormwater requirements, there was a fee paid to DEP in lieu of trying to mitigate the entire phosphorus allocation, or the phosphorus generated from this project. So Phase 2 would be an amended stormwater permit. The rules have changed a little bit over the last 5 to 7 years. Still, we're required to protect the lake watershed, and the program would be to to amend, or to design this phase, submit it to DEP for an amended permit. Excuse me. We would like to entertain, and I know the fire chief will weigh in on this, and also the board, the fire pond that's in place now at the end of Phase 1, I think has been very successful, its function. The fire chief, I think, has been up there many times over the years, testing some pumps and maybe even training a little bit. So we'd like to think that this location is now really in the center of Phase 1 and Phase 2. Would like to think that this fire pond could continue to meet the needs of this subdivision. But again, we realize that's got to go to the fire chief, and then also what are the requirements of the ordinance. So that's in a nutshell. We have started some survey work. We submitted our packet to the planning board September 8th, a cover letter to Tim Nelson, basically outlining what I've just said, that we're going to do a 13-lot subdivision, 1,200 feet of road, 2-acre lots, and how the lots will be served. So September 8th, I submitted everything into the town with a complete application. The fee was paid. A deed was submitted to show ownership, right, title, and interest. And then I did receive some comments today from the planning office, from Tina, I believe, emailed that to me on a pre-application. There's a little bit of a checklist here, if you will, asking for certain requirements and certain information. So I haven't had a chance to play that into my plan, if you will. A lot of it is, excuse me, what we consider information as you get further into this, such as ledge outcrop, other, layout of drainage ditches. Well, until I get a road design and a full design, I really don't know, where my stormwater is going to go. Andy Cody does own everything to the south and to the east of this property. So there's all sorts of opportunities to work, again, like we did in Phase 1 with buffers and vegetative soil filters or whatever combination of things to meet the stormwater requirements. So a lot of these things will be resolved once we get into the design. But again, I just wanted to introduce the project, what we're proposing. Still a lot of land out there. He doesn't plan on going much further, but he is a house builder, and with the property and with the proper engineering and development, he believes this will work well with what's already out there. So, thank you.
Thank you, Bill. You all have the planner's checklist. It should be in your packets today. I spoke with Mr. Thompson this morning, earlier this morning, regarding some of the issues for the roads and the length of roads of 5,400 feet approximately of right-of-way that had only one egress and egress out of the property, and he assured me that there may be another one coming out on a panoramic road. So he was aware of that, but only as of this morning, and the plans have been sitting in this office for about a month. That lag time from the planner to the developer is a bit much for these guys. And I believe if he would have had more time, he could have addressed those issues for us this evening. Are there any questions from the board? Excuse me.
Well, I took a ride up there. I got a set of plans right after they were dropped off here. I took a ride up and measured the road, and then I took a house count, come back here and reviewed the subdivision plans of Brookside subdivision. And we have a road that initially started off being built for, I don't recall, was that 20 houses? 18 or 20, the original plan. 18. And now with this, it's going to be servicing in excess of 53 houses. So you have, in my opinion, a very serious problem here. When the last subdivision was approved, I came before the board and asked them not to approve an extension because I felt that it didn't allow access. As you know, in a rural community like this, our means of firefighting and is all trucked-in water. And in this case, there is a pond, but once you got any distance away from it, the water would have to be trucked one way or another. And in case of an emergency, there was no way in or way out. So it appears to me that either major work's going to have to be done on the existing road, or there's going to have to be a town road built out through Panoramic Drive to meet Deering Ridge Road. You know, and back in the past, I've heard comments, well, people will use this for a shortcut. Well, it wouldn't be any shortcut. It would still be way shorter to go down Deering's Ridge Road and to Townhouse Road. And, you know, but to put 53 houses, and then there is a proposal, I mean, there is an option to put a lot more houses up in there, and to do that, I don't think this comes as any surprise to anybody that there would be objections against that, because there was a lot of objections the last time. I was not sitting on the board at the last time, but I did question the board on doing it and spoke against them extending that. And then on the land information here, you got that paper in front of you, Bill? On 14, it says, has this land been part of a prior approved subdivision? And it's checked no. Well, there was a prior subdivision that was a portion of this land, so I think the answer to that question should have been yes. That's my opinion, okay?
I look at it as this 25 acres, has this been divided, but
I look at it as a total parcel that he owned, and this being a part of the original parcel, which means that, yes, it was already subdivided. That's my opinion. I don't know about anybody else's, but it appeared to me.
yeah, I can see your point on that, Doug.
Did you take a test of the amount of water that was up in that? I was up in there about, I believe it was a day after you dropped these plans off, or 2 days afterwards, and then I've been up there once since then, and it appeared to me that the water in the pond was quite low.
Yes, yeah.
And, you know, I didn't see any type of additional pond for here. And I'm one that, personally, I'm opposed to cisterns. The board has approved several of them, but I think sometime down the road, the town's gonna regret taking all these cisterns, because at some point, they're gonna require maintenance, and then they're gonna belong to the town, and the town's gonna have to do this. So, I mean, I don't know what the opportunity is for them to increase the capacity of this pond by digging it deeper. Or if it's on ledge, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there is some ledge out there, and some of the outcroppings were left in the pond, kind of add character to it, but we haven't measured any volume since it was built.
Do you plan to do a volume test this time of year, so you have a run for what it is now?
Exactly. Volume, so the fire chief will know if we're going to try to promote that pond to serve these 13 lots.
Probably should be a pump down to see what the recovery time of the pond is.
Okay.
Keeping in mind, this is just a sketch plan review this evening. Are there any other issues that anybody would like to address? That maybe we can either approve the sketch plan or send Bill to do some more homework on it.
Does that right away have to be up to town standards for a road?
Well, the way it is right now, it says for emergency use only. And so then you got a question of who's gonna maintain it, how well is it gonna be maintained, is it gonna be gated? If it's gated and you have an emergency, who's gonna be there to open the gate? And
I assume lockbox, that would be lockbox, I'm sure, like they got now, but same token, 3 months out of the year, if it's, you know, if it ain't plowed, it's not much use.
it appears to me that with 53 houses up in there, they've already waived the 600-foot rule twice.
Twice.
They waived it when the first subdivision went in there. And I'm not saying a 600-foot rule, it was made to be waived, okay? If people want to put a narrow road in this case, they put a 24-foot wide road, I measured it. It's a 24-foot wide cul-de-sac, okay? And then they waived it again when they put the extension on, and in this case, we'd have to waive it again. And, you know, I'm 195% opposed to waiving it again. I think with 53 houses up in there, you've just got too many houses on a dead-end road.
How do you get-
when there is an alternative.
And for the record, there are 56 lots in that, off that Brookside Drive subdivision off of Townhouse Road. Brookside Drive has 18 lots originally. Mile Drive, which is a road off of Brookside, has 5. Heath Road, another road off of Brookside, has 2 lots. The connector has 3 lots. Meadowbrook has 12 lots. There were an additional 3 lots deeded since the approval, and the proposed 13 lots would bring the total to 56 lots in all. So off of the Brookside Drive, you already have a couple of spider legs coming off of there, so.
3, I think.
Oh, so this map's not up to date.
No, that's the old.
Okay.
This is the tax map.
And there is.
Because that only shows 37.
Yeah, but all of Brookside is on the other
Other.
map underneath it.
That doesn't show the detail, I think, on the top map. Brookside, yeah.
And then there appears to me to be opportunities off these spider roads, if that's what you,
There's
that's
another,
what you call
there's
them.
another easement here.
Yes, there's another easement that's proposed on this plan, I believe. And then off these spiders off Brookside, there is an opportunity to put more houses out in there.
Absolutely.
So, you know, this area is not done growing, and that's not all of Mr. Cody's, but they're all going to be serviced by the road that's servicing him. So I think a plan needs to be submitted right away to the fire chief so he can add his comments to it. I asked him a couple weeks ago about getting one, and he come in, I guess, and got one.
Yep, yes, it is.
And, you know, it just appears to me that this could easily swell to, you know, if there's 56 with what there are here, and the additions that could be off these other spider roads, we could have 60 or more houses there quickly. And that's just too much off a road. And going from the first phase of Meadowbrook onto Brookside Drive is certainly not the best situation in the world. That's a 75-degree turn there to get off it. It's a very congested turn to get in and out of there.
Keeps the speed down, though, Doug.
Yeah, it does keep the speed
Really,
down,
yeah.
but it's a cluster if you had an emergency in that
Right,
particular
right.
area. It would be a very, very,
Right. And I think a lot of the opposition, as you addressed when you started, when we were coming in with Phase 1, it was because of the quality of Brookside Drive. It was all broken up, and the developer participated in monitoring it and bringing trucks in the other way. And then, of course, it's been repaved, so that road is certainly a lot better condition. And we don't disagree with you at all, but we'd like to think, though, is a second entrance out of here is just for emergencies. On any given day, I don't think 50-odd houses is going to jam up a 24-foot roadway. We have them, you know, main roads and all over the place that handle a lot more than 50-some-odd houses. But the key is for us and for everybody is what happens if there's an emergency. So we'd like to build a quality road over to Panoramic Drive. And I don't know if you've ever driven up Panoramic Drive, but that's a nice road. Andy Cody put, I can't imagine how much money he put into that road. That is a beautiful road, 24-foot wide, crushed gravel. He just maintains it impeccably. It's just, it's nicer than, you know, I won't say in Waterboro, less nicer than some roads in Dayton where I live, you know? So we'd like to have that open as the second means of egress. But again, not put up signs and arrows and saying this way to Meadowbrook. We want that coming off Brookside to be the primary, but get them out onto another road should there be an emergency. And then I think you've eliminated the dead-end issue, you know? I know Panoramic is a private road, but it's the same ownership as this development, and he owns all around it. He lives up there. He's not going to let that road not be maintained. He's got over a mile drive from Deering to get up to his house, and he lives there year-round. You know, it's a nice road, so I'd like to think that that would, meet that concern.
You made 2 points. One, the road's been repaved at the taxpayers of Waterboro's expense. And 2, the quality, and the quality of life in Brookside itself, the original subdivision, has got to diminish when you add this additional traffic. Every car going in and out goes by those people. And, I used to know some of the people up there. I don't anymore, but when this was proposed in the early 2000s, there was people up in there that were definitely opposed to adding the traffic to that road. And their quality of life has got to have gone downhill. If they wanted to buy in an area that was a dead-end road, it's now dead-end with a lot more traffic than what was originally on it, by threefold. So that's my thoughts.
Okay.
Anybody else? Tom has reviewed this. Let's go just through, see if we can accept, what we can accept and what we need to have reworked. It's been drawn to scale, not over 200 feet to an inch. Are we in agreement that's been accepted? Proposed layouts of the lots meet the standards. They're 150-foot frontage and 80,000 square foot lots, which is 2. The fees have been paid. The layout of the streets is at issue here for discussion, and that's a proposed layout, so I'm not going to check that off. The drainage, ditches
Still got to do that.
are still not done. Proposed reserved land, has that been addressed, Bill?
Proposed reserve land, not sure what that is
Neither do I,
referring
that's
to
why I kicked it
exactly.
off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we have, I'm not sure what
Is
that
this
means.
part of a
yeah.
25-acre lot?
Yes, the size of the parcel is 28 acres. So there's no reserve land.
No reserve
And,
land,
you
okay.
know, we're gonna, at some point, we're gonna offer the road to the town, should they accept it. If not, it becomes part of a homeowners association private road if they don't accept it. There's remaining land of Andy Cody around it. And I guess the only reserve, there was that language on there for the 50-foot emergency.
Egress.
Exactly, yeah.
Is the rest of Meadowbrook a town road?
That's been accepted up to the end of the turnaround, or the end of the loop.
Outcropping has not been shown, ledge outcropping.
No, there are a couple areas, Tim, but, without a complete topo survey, that's why I said it. At this point, it's kind of, to me, it's a little bit premature, but
Yeah, I'm just going to go through this. and-
there are some. Yep.
Is there anything historical on that?
No,
Have you
it's just-
contacted?
We haven't contacted, but I've walked the whole thing, and there are no structures, no foundations or cellar holes.
No wooden arrowheads or?
Not that we
stone
found yet,
arrowheads?
no.
Okay. Any trees of interest?
No, basic mix, hardwood, softwood. There's nothing,
Okay.
no 200-year-old.
Acreage and range of lots have been shown.
Yep.
The other issue is the price range of land, wells and sewage,
Right.
and that can come in.
We have not come up with anything on that yet, Tim.
Why is that on our checklist?
I don't know.
It makes
Why
no
it's-
difference.
It's so
Yeah.
early on it.
Yeah, and it really makes no difference for the
Regardless.
approval or not,
Yeah.
And especially if you're just gonna sell the lots.
right?
Yeah, it's an odd,
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
but
It's there, and I've just put NA on it because I don't know how any developer at this stage of the game is going to come up with that number at this point. And even at the end of it, with today's economy, it's tough to do. So we have issues, layouts of the street, and you can't do the layouts of the streets. You can do that, but the drainage until you get to the next phase is probably a waste of time and money.
a little difficult, yeah. I mean, we have topo here
Mhm.
that show you how the water flows kind of from
Yeah.
east to west.
So what's the pleasure of the board at this point? Do we want to see how this emergency road's going to come out, forward it off to the fire chief and get his opinion?
Yes.
Or do we want to approve the sketch plan and keep this process moving for Mr. Cody and these guys?
I mean, for approving the sketch plan, I think what Doug's concerned with the right-of-way, that needs some, that needs a little bit further explanation, but I mean, the applicant has provided that as on there, so I mean, I'm okay with the sketch plan going.
I guess I'd like to toss it to the road review committee too. I'm not sure how much they are anymore, but on that escape, I know one other development that went to them, that went out on a private road, they were asking that it be brought up to town standards. That wasn't an escape road, but it was, it's the same thing.
Phyllis, I mean, is there a reason not to make the 50-foot a regular road that comes out down onto Deering Ridge?
No dumps on a private road.
Well, this road would dump out onto Panoramic Drive, which is a private road. So to make that a town road, I don't think,
You couldn't.
I don't think he would like to, first of all, and to go beyond what it is to a town road. I don't know if it's just paving it would need, or do you have town roads that aren't paved?
Well, yeah, but we haven't
I mean,
approved it.
as a new
No.
one.
There's a regular
Right.
standard, there's a
So
standard.
to pave, from this point, Panoramic Drive, I'm a half a mile in.
Don't say that because we just
We
approved.
just approved one, yeah.
We just approved one,
Which one?
right up here in
Eon
Eon
Way.
Way.
Beyond Wood.
But you got a different situation. Eon Way's been a road of existence for a long time. This road is brand new.
Yeah,
So if you read your
Oh,
road
what-
standards,
What's the one off West Road? What's the one going across from the school? That's got a
Going in with
secondary,
a-
that's got a secondary road that I thought was dirt.
Oh,
We're asking
but that's
for that.
not town road.
That's not a town road, though.
There's Bob's Way, and where the water,
and Beans
new
Pits.
wellhead is.
Full
Yeah.
Line Drive.
Is that what you're talking about, on the bean pit?
Yeah, Barb's Way was being upgraded to serve as the second main,
Yeah, we asked, I think the road review asked that.
and the road review committee looked at that,
Yeah.
but it wasn't going to be paved, it was going to be kept as a gravel roadway.
But up to town standards.
Correct.
So,
Yeah.
if we approve this sketch plan and approve the emergency right-of-way, it's gonna come back and be thrown in our face later on. If we're not, if we have considerations, I think that the consideration should be brought forward immediately and so stated, so that the engineers and the developer know from the beginning that the board has questions about the right-of-way. And I don't think we should approve this sketch plan with the emergency right-of-way clause. I think that we should say that the sketch plan itself should move forward, but that the road layout and the right-of-way are in question and are not getting the blessing of the board at this time.
well, what other alternatives would there be to that emergency exit?
Could we
When he
bring,
builds a road out to,
Yeah.
if Panoramic Drive is built as good as Bill says it is, then all he'd have to do is pave it and it could become a town road.
how about if we approve the sketch plan with reservations for the right-of-way, but we approve the essential
concept.
layout of the lots and move forward with discussions on the right-of-way with the road review committee, the fire chief, the planner,
And the fire chief.
and
Yeah.
the fire chief, Matt, yes.
Because I think both of those people, the chief and the road review committee had a lot of reservation on that other development, I
Right.
believe.
And
I think, Tim, the only way you can approve this is approve it as a conceptual sketch plan. The concept is all right, and
I
that's
think
as
that's
far as we
staying.
go.
That's about all
Yeah,
we're
the
looking for.
concept is all right,
Yeah.
okay?
thank you, I couldn't think of the word, but thank you.
We're
That's what I
not
was
hung
looking
up
for.
on the concept, so you approve, you give,
The concept of the,
right, but the concept of the layout,
okay.
okay? I'll make a motion that we accept the conceptual plan as to the layout without the road infrastructure
Exception of the
being
layout.
considered at this time.
I'd second that.
Did you get all that, Tina?
Yes.
Any discussion on that? All those in favor? Opposed?
Great, thank you. Because, we're not going to go any further if that's not going to work. I mean,
Right.
nobody's going to want to spend any more money, and Andy Cody has slowed me down because I was going to have all the survey and all the topo done. He goes, let's see what we have for hurdles here. And if we can satisfy everybody that something would work, you know, you and the road review committee and the fire chief, when they say the road's got to be painted green with pink stripes, then we know. And if it's not going to work for the applicant, then you pack up and go home.
I'll ask
I
Keith.
think we need some more information about the fire pond also.
Yeah, and exactly. And if that fire pond doesn't work, we'll do something else. There's many options. There's cisterns, there's sprinkler systems.
So the whole idea of, Doug, of road lengths and single entrance and exit is simply a safety thing. I mean, we've got enough exceptions in town, that all over the place. We got, they think, Old Portland Road, heck, that alone is certainly bigger than this, and that's one way. So the exceptions are ours to make?
But, you know, I don't think it's fair to the engineer or to the developer to say, okay, you know, everything looks good, move ahead.
Yeah.
And then, you know, 2 meetings down the road, somebody
Pull the rug.
throws a
Yeah.
roadblock in front of you and trips you up and says, this isn't right. I never met a design engineer yet that didn't want to know the design so they could plan for it, okay?
Right.
Or nor a developer who didn't want to know where his costs were gonna be involved, all right? Because he can look at this and say, well, this is too expensive, but in 5 years, I'm gonna add another portion, I'm gonna take one of them side roads out of there, and once he gets the through traffic, then the additions to the side of it, you know, are not an issue.
I have a question, a procedural type of question. So his next submission is a preliminary?
I think
Because if it's
the next submission is still going to be the sketch plan. All we've
Okay.
done is
Because
essentially,
when it's preliminary, then we have to do notices
Yeah.
and
No,
get
this
ready
is
for
still-
hearings
this is
and
Yeah,
all
I'd
still
that.
like to revise this, refine it, work a little bit more with the connector road and the drainage, and get it to these people we just talked about.
what needs to happen
To
is
give
there's a
feedback
meeting
to you.
with Bill,
Yeah.
planner, fire
Yeah,
chief.
Tom should
Right.
set something up for...
Yeah, and you ought to be able to set something up, look at our schedules and see, and we can set something up,
Yeah.
and we can all sit down in the same room. so-
And I understand that he owns Panoramic is his road, and it's all private. And it's all well and good that he currently owns it and loves it dearly, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure you can make plans on that, because 2 days from now, he may, you know, you get all done with it, he may say, well, okay, I'm gone.
Sure.
And the next guy may not want traffic through his thing. So I'm not sure I think Doug's right, we need to bounce that around until we get something definitive on that.
And whoever owns it, whether it's the town or a private developer, you want to make sure it's always going to be available for this
Sure.
proposed
Nobody's
use.
gonna block
That's
it
right.
off.
And exactly, yeah.
This is a major issue. We've had way too much of this problem
Yeah.
in town before, you know,
Yeah.
over the years, and things change with ownership, you know, and, you know, the other thing is that you never know when you're gonna run out in the street, you know, and a truck's gonna run you over, or an airplane's gonna crash on your house, or you're just gonna up and croak.
You're just a cheer. You're a bundle of cheer tonight,
Boy,
aren't
I don't know
you?
if I want to drive home now.
About
I
watching
live
it
10
tip
minutes
over.
from you.
You know, it's a sad but true fact, you know what I
No
mean?
guarantees, Doug.
There's no guarantees.
Rats.
We-
And here I thought.
We've had too many roadblocks in the past.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks for
Bill.
your feedback. Okay.
Tim, can we go over this checklist just so that we can, I'd like to bring my checklist up to date and then just kind of have a quick,
What I've done, Doug, is essentially checked off the top three that,
the top three.
Can I ask a couple questions before you go, sort of change the subject?
Okay.
I know Tina asked you for this in a digital format.
Correct.
Which came as soon
Okay,
as
you
you
did
asked
get it.
for it.
Good, okay.
I'd like to ask a couple questions if I could, because I've been pushing to have more and more of our things in digital format. That's
Yep.
sort of nice to have it like
Yep.
that. If we ask for this in AutoCAD format with all the layers separate, not a big issue?
Not a big issue, as long as you can print it and receive it on wherever it's going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some files get pretty big, but what we did on this is just send a PDF file, which I think you can only print that.
Or we could put it on a CD or, I
Or
mean,
we can give you a disc.
disk,
you know,
okay.
yeah.
The second one, and if you're involved in this enough, you know where I'm heading. I noticed that South Portland and Portland, some of the coastal towns are now asking for, I think you guys call it a geo-reference.
Okay.
You know, we already asked for monuments at the four corners.
Yep.
The next step seems to be, I want to know where those monuments are.
You want the main state coordinates?
Yes.
What a lot of towns, a lot of the towns are asking for that now.
Yeah, I noticed that
We have
more.
to tie into some monumentation and then rotate it into our figure.
Is that a big issue?
No, as long as we know up front. A lot of times they ask me the night before the planning board meeting, you know, Butch is
As
doing,
an
you know.
informal, if we could get those AutoCAD drawings, if we could have reference points of some sort up on that,
Yep.
at least 2 or 3.
Yep.
I would be tickled pink, because I'd like to start laying it into our GIS.
Yep.
And without those,
Yeah, it's perfect. That's why most of the towns, Old Orchard requires it.
yeah, I noticed
Doing
Portland,
one or
South
two
Portland,
lots or whatever.
a
Yeah.
lot of them are starting to say, not only we want the 4 monuments, but we also want to know where they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, good. I've asked up front, you know where I'm
Yeah,
going, so.
yeah, we can do it, no problem.
Good, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Can we just take a vote and say 1, 2, 3, 10, and 11?
Were you
1, 2,
starting one
3.
from, Doug?
10 and 11, what's that?
Were you starting one from paid or 200 to the inch?
Paid. right?
Okay.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Right.
This isn't numbered, it's
Yeah,
high.
it knows that. That's why we want to know where you're starting.
Okay.
And then the bottom two, 10 and 11. If, I'd just like to see us keep a better record of what we're doing, you know what I mean? And
Exactly.
it just later on down the road, somebody, comes into a meeting and say, we didn't do that. You can say, well, Tina can pull out the minutes of that meeting, and here we did. We said on the sketch plan,
Yeah.
1, 2, and 3 was good, and 10 and 11 was acceptable under what we done on the sketch plan tonight. So I'd like to make that a motion.
Probably all right, too.
What's that?
8 and 9.
Well,
We should just know.
we don't know that. He did, Tim asked him them questions.
Right.
and
He didn't
really
have any answers for
He did
those.
not have the answers for them, so.
No, actually, he did know, he said he walked the site, there were no
Yeah.
historical preserves there, but
Just mixed trees.
they won't know that until they start moving earth.
Yeah, he checks with the historical.
Cemeteries out there, I know. Unless he finds one that we don't know about.
Yeah. So I think those we ought to leave open for the time being, but I would say, I'd make a motion 1, 2, and 3, 10 and 11.
I'll second that.
Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Could you pass that back to Tim, please?
Good.
Tina, is there any reason we couldn't get this with those numbered?
No, this is just this is how it's written in the
But this
subdivision
is-
ordinance.
This is my
numbers
third
for
meeting, and I
everything.
think all 3, someone
I
has
might
done
do
this.
A, B, C,
And I'm sitting here
and
saying,
then
I'm starting to
numbers.
count down through this. I'd like to have that just numbered.
Letter,
Letters,
Identify.
that's the bottom of the
Hieroglyphics, thumbprints, I don't care, as long as we can say, I know which one they're going to.
number. Short.
And I didn't hear anybody say anything about Article 14 on the subdivision application. Was I wrong in saying that this land has been previously?
It has been pre-subdivided, he agreed,
My question I wanted to ask, was what difference would it make? It almost seemed to be a mute. He seemed to quickly say, okay, it sort of has been, but it was different. Does it make a difference regulation-wise, is my question.
If it was within a 5-year period, it does make a difference.
okay.
it does, but.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
This has gone beyond the 5-year period, Frank, because if it comes within a 5-year period, then it brings it back into a more stringent standard to meet with
Okay.
DEP, okay?
Right.
Okay.
So
Yep.
if he comes in 4 years from now and wants to do another subdivision, we go back and look at this, yes, he had a previous,
Sure.
a board that
Okay.
never knew it before, might think that somebody
Right.
else subdivided that and he bought the land afterwards.
Okay, I brought it up, I'm glad you brought that up. I didn't understand that, whether it was just trivia or it actually made a regulation difference, so it does.
It does.
Thanks.
Do we have July 29th minutes?
Yes. They're attached.
No, they're in the packet.
Those were already looked at once, but we didn't have a quorum to sign.
All right. These minutes have been looked at and reviewed once. If you want to look at them again, I will accept the motion to accept them.
I will second that. I've only looked at it once.
Do I have a motion?
Yes, Frank.
Do I have a second on it? Any discussion? All in favor? Thank you.
I wasn't here.
All right. Reports of officers, there are none. Old business?
I have something.
You have something?
I don't know if it's old business or new business, but old business, I guess.
Okay, old business?
Yeah.
You want to bring it up?
I've met twice with Roger Lozier on this subdivision that we've done the site walk on, and upgrading that road and doing the work, and I wanted it noted in the minutes of tonight's meeting that I have met with him at 2 different times to go over the improvements that he's going to make up there to that road. And the fact was, he put it out to bid to do the work and requested our company to bid on it, which we didn't do because of my involvement with the planning board. But I wanted to keep that, I wanted that straight up, that I had been up there with no other members of the board because I'd raised some issues about the road, and they wanted to get a clear understanding. So if anybody has any concerns, they can meet with Roger or whatever their thoughts are, but I did meet with him on 2 separate occasions.
Thank you. Any concerns?
I told him that would be on the agenda November 4th, because the next meeting is the,
Thank you for
Meeting with
disclosing
the
that, Doug.
he just emailed that to me, I just printed it out.
Next on the agenda is Dr. Frank Goodrow requested that the Bartlett Pines Phase 3 subdivision be formally abandoned from the town of Waterboro. Lyman met last month or the month before and abandoned their decisions, or pulled all their decisions back. So I told Dr. Goodrow that it wouldn't be an issue. All he had to do was submit a request to us to do that, and I would bring it up at this board meeting. And he did do that. So I would like to have a vote either way to formalize the abandonment of Bartlett Pines Phase 3 and give Dr. Goodrow.
And the question that Doug brought up last time, there's no obligations because of the original subdivision, nothing hanging, nothing, no promises made that would affect other people?
None that we know of, and our approval was in part with Lyman,
Okay.
and they've abandoned theirs, so I believe
Yep.
it's just a formality on our part.
Was there any lots in this within the actual town of Waterboro?
This Phase 3, no,
No,
no.
And he made no contractual or other agreements to upgrade Bartlett Pines
He
Road?
wasn't the one technically doing the subdivision, it was Denwood Builders was gonna do the subdivision, it was his land, and then
But did they make any agreements to do any, I just wondered, if we'd been through the paperwork, just to make sure that there was no commitments made like there was with the previous subdivider up there. And then we ran into a situation where the town became deeply involved because the people, come spring, could not get in and out of their subdivision. And I just wanted to make very sure that that doesn't happen again. We've had several of these situations in the town in the last 25 years where people went defunct or tried to withdraw their subdivision and had commitments to other people. It was, either fulfilled by the town or fulfilled by other parties.
the way I understand it, the only commitment was to the town of Lyman, and that was to build a road to whatever standards they had, because none of this phase of the subdivision was in Waterboro. And the other part of the subdivision pretty much stood alone.
This is the last phase of that project, and I think this is the only parcel in that Phase 3 project
Right.
that was ever built up on.
He ended up with all that land, so it's all his now.
It's all his. He has no intention, my understanding, he has no intentions of doing anything with it.
So that road just becomes his driveway.
Pretty much. I will entertain a motion.
I have a motion, I'll motion that we accept the application to withdraw the subdivision.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll do.
Any further discussion? Please? Seeing there's none, I will call for a vote. All in favor? Opposed? Thank you.
Did you abstain?
Abstain?
I abstain.
Thank you.
I could tell by the smile.
Well, I was waiting for his hand, I knew something.
Next on the old business, under old business agenda is questions for the workshop for the attorneys. Tina, do we have any questions that were submitted to you?
I have this question.
And Doug had submitted some questions as well, a question as well.
Sean didn't give me that.
Okay. It was sort of like, going back to college days, it's a question, but it was like in 10 parts from Doug.
Oh, that one, okay. Yes, I have
It was
that.
one question, but 10 parts.
Right. Oh, I did have that written out. Okay.
All right.
I think I texted him, give him.
Let's have a brief discussion. We want to get the attorneys in here so we can have a workshop and discuss at least what we have going with them, which I'm presuming is going to take about an hour. Is there anything that people want to bring up so we can forewarn Ken and Natalie, whoever's going to be here, whomever's going to be there?
I submitted like 5 questions, 6 questions, I think. Those are my questions that I had.
Did you want me to make copies of this for everybody?
Why don't you do that? We can move on and we can...
Well, last week they had Jensen, Beard, Gardner, and Henry had a informational meeting that was quite interesting. I used to attend them years ago and attended this one. There was a couple things that come up at that I think that we should ask them while they're here to explain the new laws that they explained at this meeting. I think it would be good for us. And one of them had to do with handicap access or building a garage if he was handicapped and sideline setback requirements. There's if you're handicapped and you can't meet the sideline setbacks, and I'm sure I don't remember it per se, and I don't believe I didn't bring the book, and I intended to bring it, but I didn't. So I think that we should have a better understanding of that. And then I think once you get an understanding of that, you'll see that we need to make a change in our zoning ordinance to accommodate handicapped and other persons who are unable to, successfully use a pair of stairs for whatever reason. The state law now says that if you don't address it in your zoning ordinance, that if you build, to begin with, the person that's in the building that has the handicapped problem has got to be some direct, either an owner or a direct member of the family, okay? I'm not exactly sure how this reads, so we need some interpretation on that. But once that, if they come in and get a conditional use permit or a waiver from the zoning board of appeals, as soon as that person passes, even if there's another person, or if they sell the house, you have to tear that structure down. You can't leave it there. It's been there. And, you know, I've argued this before, maybe this board won't have any more sympathy than the last one's did. But, you know, if you know, Frank's wife's father becomes disabled and can't live at home, he might not be able to bring him to his house and build a ramp to help him get in and out of the house if it's too close to property line. Okay? There are situations where you can't do that. You can't bring somebody that's...
Well, the federal law and Maine law that is followed, and it is actually an ICC law as well, is if they're physically challenged, you're allowed to, the setback violations are essentially moot at that point. You're allowed to build to the property lines, but once that physical challenge is either gone or the person, as you said, is no longer living there, then the accessible dwelling or the accessible item, which is stairs, ramps, and they've actually, the new law is extended into garages in Maine because of the snow burdens must be removed.
But this new law for garages
Right.
does not have, the garage does not have to be removed. There's nothing in the law that says the garage has to be, I specifically questioned that last week at this meeting. So now it appears to me we're operating under a double standard. We can't, we can have a ramp,
Right.
but upon the problem going away, if you will, we got to remove the ramp. But the people got money enough, they can build a garage and then move out of the house and sell the house with a garage with a, right on somebody else's property line.
So I can have my father-in-law move in with me for a couple of months, build a garage, and then kick him out.
That's right.
And I get to keep the garage.
You get to keep the garage.
Just want to clarify that.
Yeah.
That's a good question, because
Yeah.
that's changed from what the intention of the law, that's changed from what the writing
Well,
was.
that's what, we had that discussion there. So, and I think this is wrong. I mean, there are certain criteria you have to meet on who is,
Right.
who is eligible for this disability ramp. And I think that we should correct our zoning
Yeah.
to accommodate for this.
And the reality, Doug, is anybody in their right mind that sits in an office of enforcement or issuing of permits isn't going to question. If they come in and say they're eligible, even if they're just diagnosed with a syncopal or dizzy spell, they're eligible. I was handed a very head on a platter type of deal because of an issue that arose like that. That somebody was dizzy, but yet he wanted to put a set of stairs closer to the ocean outside the house on a deck that he was allowed to do because he had spiral stairs in the house and it made him dizzy going up his spiral stairs. So,
So he needs to put him in a garage.
yeah,
Okay,
handicap issues are very tricky, and yes, I agree. Well, I put that right on this question.
I mean, you know, the problem is that common sense is quite uncommon.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. All
So
right.
that's an issue that just reared its head when I went to this meeting last week, and there was quite a few other issues that came up. And I don't know, I think we should just ask them if there's any other highlights of that meeting that they think that they should share with the board, okay?
Did they have a handout or a
Oh, yeah,
agenda or-
they gave us a big, oh, I might have that out in my pickup if you want me to go out and look at it.
Like I say, is that something we could read or,
Yeah, maybe they could forward us a copy.
yeah?
I have a copy, and the two selectmen went, the town planner was there, he got a copy of it. Nancy's got a copy of it, I think, so.
All right. When do we want to have them here? Or have him here?
Tom set the date, didn't he?
Yeah, he's already said it's 2 weeks, the 21st,
Okay.
at 6:30, which
Did
will
we get an
be...
email for that?
Oh, true, David.
Well, not yet.
I have some thinking.
I didn't want to get permission.
The 21st?
And that's actually where
It's our
selectmen come in.
next regular meeting
Okay.
date, it's just 6:30.
No, but that's a good one to
If you
bring up.
want it, babe.
All right.
Who's that, to go to the selectmen? Who's that?
Communications, I have,
Tim, Judy has some comments
oh,
about
I'm
it.
sorry, I didn't hear you.
Are we going to discuss performance bonds, or is that something that goes to the selectmen, or? seems to be an issue that's in our ordinance that,
With the attorneys?
well, I don't know, I guess,
I guess one of the questions I have about what Judy's saying is, our ordinance lists certain stuff, and it gives it to the planning board, but the selectmen have not followed what we've recommended for it. So what's the liability of the town at that point?
Oh, good way to phrase it, instead of, that, I guess I'd like to see it phrased that way. What's our liability if we've suggested something like that and they don't follow through?
but that's,
I like that
that's
perspective.
in our,
The ordinance.
the ordinance, but yet it's not deemed acceptable, and it's right there, so they say it's there, we should be able to do it.
Well, doesn't it say it passed to the legislative part of the government, which is them, so they don't have to do anything with it. But I like that perspective, though, what's the liability
Well,
if they
that's, I
don't?
mean, if you have something in your ordinance and you don't, it's not acceptable to the
Yep.
town,
And we need to
then
change
the
it.
person that sees it in there,
Goes back to Doug's thing about somebody coming in to do business in town. You know, find a rock. You know, it's like, we don't know how do you tell somebody what they would have to put up front to get their project done?
Yep.
All right, you got that one? I've got it. Any other discussions for the attorney?
We still have some questions on site plan, and I don't know if this is the time to ask them to the council or not, but if we have an existing building in the town of Waterboro, and somebody wants to change the use of the building, I find it very difficult to make it go to site plan. And, you know, we have parking restrictions within the town of Waterboro. So I fail to understand why areas that are not classified, no parking zones, can't be used for parking. And, you know, this is a discussion that keeps coming up and coming up and coming up, but when you have existing buildings in town, if you're not changing the configuration of the building, you might be able to limit the number of employees they have in the building based on the size of it. When it comes before the code enforcement officer, but it appears to me that should be something that's written into the ordinance and not something that has to come before the planning board or site plan review. It doesn't appear that it should be a lengthy process to take an existing building and start turning it into some type of constructive business and putting it to a constructive use so the owner can, you know, have the ability to pay the taxes on it.
So you're saying take a building and from this under one allowable use and be able to change it to another allowable use in that zone? And he shouldn't have to go to the town at all?
Well, they might have to go to the code enforcement officer and notify him that there's a change of use going on, but other than that, I don't know why it should have to go in front of site plan if both uses are
Allowable.
allowable.
Agree 100%.
Sounds like we're going to have a workshop. I think these are workshop
Yeah.
type questions where we need to sit down and hash them out, work it out, and have Patty and Tom here to go over, to get their input on it as well. Because that's the second or third time that the site plan questions have come up. So we ought to be looking at dates for workshop down the road as well. Any further discussion under questions for workshops for attorneys?
Have we seen the changes that the lawyer made to the, what we just passed? The ordinance we just forwarded to the selectmen? And I understand that there were changes by the lawyer?
I haven't seen anything.
And they're gonna have a public meeting on it. Initially, they could pass it back to us again, but, okay.
while Frank's looking at that. Communications, I have a letter that was addressed to Patty from the Board of Licensures dated August 25th, '09. It's actually the code enforcement officials talking about professional engineers that need to be licensed to do certain things. And they're asking the CEOs to be aware of the licensing standards and who's licensed and under the state regulations for licensing for seals and stuff on planes. That comes out every year or so. And that is all I have on communications. Miscellaneous, does anybody have anything they'd like to bring up? New business, I think we kind of brought new business, and Doug, do you have something else you'd like to bring up under new business?
Just, the only thing I had was that meeting we had. that's
Okay,
all.
no, I saw you looking, and,
No, I was just checking to see if I had anything else I'd forgot.
all right. Since there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn?
I'll second that.
Any discussion, all in favor? Meeting for August 7th is adjourned.